But Karen L says that she is losing hope. She's honestly losing hope when she sees what she's seeing and she hears what she's hearing. And Mr. K says to Karen that we are resilient and there are freedom fighters all around addressing the issue, which goes to what Brother Alimadi was trying to bring up. So let's ask Brother Alimadi, please speak to the question that you have next, and then let's talk about these freedom fighters and this hope that still is here for us.
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to hear that, hopefully, and if they're not, I think it's going to be one of our missions in every show.
Mm-hmm.
We have to bring up Sister Chioma's name and tell people how to link with her so we can spread this consciousness giving platform.
So that's
sure,
Mzingi. Mzingi, I'll write the name there, but yes, we will mention that.
Yeah,
go on.
that you have more more people involved in this, because and people respond, people appreciate it. Look at the authentic love that the people in Burkina Faso still have for Sankara, even today, even though they're in a bit of a mess right now. People still yearn back to that era. Such a long time ago. Many of them were not born, since the country is very young, like the rest of Africa. But one day they will come back to that system that Sankara had introduced. So we need to support people engaged on the front lines, such as yourself. So please tell us there are a few more who else are out there. And if not, we'll follow you until more join you.
Sorry, was that addressed to me? Because I kind of had a moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that
so
is
please
to you.
Repeat the question if you
That
don't
is to
mind.
you. We want to know. As we said, we love the work you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
And we know this is the path really to Africa's liberation. Many of us are engaged in challenging the World Bank and IMF and putting pressure on our leaders who sign up to these loans and accept those conditions that impoverish and kill our people. And by the way, now that I just remembered, listeners, there's a lecture by Rodney called Crisis in the Periphery, Africa and the Caribbean. That's on YouTube as well. And he literally calls the IMF, I'm paraphrasing, but literally calls them bloodsuckers. He says, they take your blood for something like a pound of bread or something like that. So we're engaged in that fight. But this is actually, I believe, the biggest fight, because without food independence, you cannot do anything else. So the question is, are there others like yourself engaged in this very worthy struggle? Because we want, obviously, the numbers to grow. So in that sense is what I would say that would give us more hope, and the listeners who are listening.
There are, and thank God there are many courageous people who are pushing back. For instance, there is a group called Food Sovereignty Ghana, who are actively fighting against the UPOV law being passed in Ghana, and taking all their leaders to task as strongly as possible. And they're doing amazing work. They're making headway, or at least in terms of publicity, they're gaining ground, gaining awareness. Not only that, we have organic consumers associations. This Dr. Mokaya, who I mentioned, is actually one of the main players in, and they're working together to put together networks of farmers in Africa who are willing, ready, and interested in doing things the correct way, safely, producing food safely for people. And they provide training, they provide tools and support, and even certification if it's needed, so that people can be able to know that the food that they're purchasing is actually grown through a process that was pre-approved by people who have people's interests at heart. There's a gentleman we know of, I'm not sure if you've heard of him, by name of Rutendo Matinyarare. He is Zimbabwean by birth. You know him?
Oh,
yes.
That's troublemaker number one.
He's got a lot going on. He's amazing. Yeah. So he was in South Africa. I don't know if he's moved permanently back to Zimbabwe, but either way, he sort of traverses both. And
Yeah.
he's been active not only in pushing against sanctions against Zimbabwe, but also in pursuing the issue of food safety and finding ways to produce food safely and sell food safely, especially to those who are interested, including managing the issue of seeds. So like heirloom seeds, seeds which are actually indigenous, original, and still have life in them. And so it's not just these individuals that I've mentioned, there are more people out there. So organic food producer networks exist across the country, as do people who are actually trying to find remedies, natural remedies, plant-based remedies to
Yes.
many of these ills that people
Ailments,
have,
right.
unfortunately, yes, encountered in their bodies because of the lifestyle choices they made. And you know what is really sad and painful about this whole thing that's going on with people's food and the farming system, the farming process, is that many of the farmers do it from the place of trust. The government has our best
Right.
interests at heart, therefore,
Right.
they've given us these seeds, they've given us
Yeah.
this fertilizer, and they've given us this spray to use so that we can be successful. So they bought the line. And the people who know better are not helping them. And there are people in the farming community who know better and they're not helping. But there are those in the farming community who also know. Like there's a lovely lady, a Kenyan lady called Sylvia Miloyo Kuria. She's pioneering a whole organic food retail market thing in Kenya. She goes around training farmers in what to do, how to grow their stuff, and then she's created an outlet where people can actually buy their produce. Because for many farmers, but if I do this and it costs me more and takes more time, how am I assured that I'm going to get some kind of return? So she is providing an answer to that question. There are people, and the thing is that these people are not like strange, or they didn't wake up and were bitten by some radioactive spider and then they got superpowers and started to do. What happened is it is born from passion. Like for Sylvia, it came from the place of wanting what was best for her children. So as she took care of her children and she noticed they were improving, she was like, but what about other people? How do I help them as well? And so she started pushing for that. She's, fought because it's not been easy, but she pushes and she pushes every day. And on the days when she feels like giving up, she's got a support network that encourages her. It's not easy at first to begin to be the transformative force in your area of responsibility or mandate or understanding. But if you have a vision that is clear, it is worth it. Because many of the people who are freedom fighters, like for real freedom fighters, they end up dead. So I'm just letting you know,